Awesome Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube, Awesome Rider here, and I'm very excited to bring you the review for the Power Rangers Beast Morphers Beast-X Morpher. To get this out of the way at the start, if you're wondering where to find this, toys are starting to trickle out as of this recording. Some people are finding them at Targets and Walmarts. This went up on Walmart.com a couple times, very lightning fast, just keep an eye on it. There was also a listing for it on BarnesandNoble.com. So keep an eye out for those, but again, they're starting to trickle out, and if you're watching this in the future, what season's next year? No, but so yeah, that's just why I wanted to address that at the beginning. But let's go ahead and get started. We have a lot to talk about and a lot to go over. Let's get this junk out of the way and go over the box. No, but I just like to address the box at the beginning of a new series. I do really like the packaging. I love the art here for the Beast Morphers Rangers. They had some of it just blown up at Toy Fair too, so it's really cool. Obviously the Morpher and stuff was here. You can probably see it in the thumbnail. Not quite as open box as the old ones. I still kind of prefer the old Bandai style where it's totally closed, but still, it's a nice box. You got nice art on the side there. That's really cool art there. Shows more of the Rangers there. It gives some of the phrases and stuff. And then you have this very serious looking kid. And something that's really funny here, right here where it says, "Are you ready?" You're dang right. But you can see underneath there's actually previous phrases, like it says, "You messed with the wrong Ranger," and I can't see what the other one says, but like they stickered over it. Like, I think it's the ones that, or at least this one, "You messed with the wrong Ranger." I thought that was funny and worth noting that they fixed that. Like, I wouldn't have been like, "Ugh, it repeats the phrase here and here, not buying this trash." Now let's get on to the main event. So we have the Morpher here, obviously, and then you get this little sort of, it's like a tri-pack of some of the keys. Like, you're gonna be able to get these individually, like in the figures and whatnot, but this gives you like a sample set on almost like a car keyring, and it's got a design that's very reminiscent of it. I actually really dig this. And like you have like Red Ranger and Blaze, and then this other one which is kind of like an all-purpose one, but it's just kind of like a good almost try-me key. But I kind of wish they had something like this in the show. Maybe they will later for like armaments and stuff, but I kind of like that idea of them having this little thing that would display different keys. But they are kind of cheap. Like, they're just kind of a standard plastic, and they have little grooves in them. They don't look as cool as the individual ones you're going to be getting with the figures that have like designs on them and stuff. That's trying to focus on that. But you know, they're not bad. They just do feel a little flimsy, and sometimes when I'm putting it in the keyhole, I don't know, I wish they were a little bit more solid, a little bit less cheap feeling. Like, it just feels kind of off. That's my real only complaint about that. So we'll take a look at the Morpher and the sounds, and then I'll do a comparison to the Go-busters changer, like right after that. But so it is a lot bigger. I think it's a very nice looking Morpher. I've heard some people say that this symbol here used, which obviously is symbols from the show, but using this rather than what's on the Morphin Brace is what the Dobutsu Sentai Go-busters used, which was like the parody version of the team that they teamed up with. I'm not sure if that's true or not, just because, you know, I don't remember that many close-up shots of the changer in the movie, but it is different. We'll get into that. It is a bit more blown up. You have like these extra little, you know, plastic bits here. So it looks, I don't want to say cheaper, just it looks a little bit more flat, a little bit more blown up. I still think it's pretty solid looking. You have this red button up here, which really isn't present like in the Go-busters one. There is like interestingly enough, there is a thing that looks like a button there, which we'll get into. But it's a pretty large Morpher. Like, it is larger than the Go-busters one. It's a fairly nice size. You have this sort of cloth strap back here, which is fairly nice. I kind of prefer the thicker ones for the Sentai changers, but this is still nicer than some of the cheap plastic ones, and it fits pretty well. So, yeah, overall aesthetically, I'd say it's pretty solid. It's not exactly accurate, but I think this toy is more about function than accuracy. So let's get into what you've been waiting for, the sounds. So we have 3 settings: off, the most important one, and then the second one is more about the motion, and the third one is for morphing. So let's do the motion first. Did you hear that activation sound? It's only at dog whistle pitches. No, I'm kidding. You have to activate it with this button.
Hey, Ranger, move me around.
Don't tell me what to do.
Hey, Ranger, move me around.
And that's all it does. But you can see the sort of...
It's morphin' time.
You said to move me around. Was it morphin' time?
Unleash the beast.
And you get some
Rangers,
phrases.
it's go time.
And you can see all the LEDs here.
Morphin' time. Unleash the beast.
It reminds me a lot of those like 90s games, like Henry or something, where you have to hit the buttons in a certain order. But so... You activate, that's actually really sensitive, at least mine is.
Unleash the beast!
Yeah, so you get that little jingle noise after a little bit of activating, but you can't do it if you don't have it registered. So like, that's kind of nice actually. So, you know, if you're just wanting to mess around with it, or for kids wanting to play with it without it activating, it's nice that you have this.
Move me around. Unleash the beast!
So yeah, I quite appreciate that, you know, you have to activate it so that it's not one of those ones where if you like blink, it starts going off. And the morpher type noises, like when you press that, spoiler alert, those go up, don't do anything. And also, it's worth noting, if you put the keys in this mode, it won't do anything at all. So you have to have it in the morpher mode. Okay, now morpher mode. Again, listen to that dog pitch whistle activating sound. So again, you get activation noises here.
Let's go! Rangers, it's go time!
Which go time or let's go?
Unleash the beasts! It's morphin' time! It's morphin' time! Let's go!
It's kind of just randomized. It's on random. So now if you activate the morphin noises, I might have to reset it, but without basically doing any keys or anything first, you'll get a specific jingle.
Are you ready? Say it's morphin' time!
It's morphin time. So you get that, and then you do get specific noises after that for this, after you've activated. I don't think this one has any post ones. I think it's just that. But now, calm down. But now let's go into the actual transformation. So you just already saw how I put the key in. There's just a slat here. It's not twist, it's just insert, which is just like the show. And you want to make sure this little slider here is at the bottom. Just of note, I'm going to go over all the main sounds you get in this and do my verdict and stuff. And then afterwards, I'll be messing around with a little bit to unlock some more sounds because you can do that. I just don't want to bog the review down with that. So let's do it. Wait. You jumped the gun. That's the activation noise, and I was going to make a big deal about how it sounds like the Omnitrix noise from the original series.
We need to work together. We've got the code to victory.
That's not the one it's supposed to be.
We need to work together.
But let's go ahead and do it anyway.
Are you ready? Say it's morphin' time.
It's Torfin Mime! So that's sort of the main Ranger morph jingle.
We need to work together.
Now that just reactivated that. See what I mean about it being kind of cheap and loose, where sometimes when I'm trying to activate the, you know, motion sounds, this will jostle and it'll all of a sudden activate a different key. That's kind of annoying. Maybe it won't be as much of a problem when I have individual ones that aren't attached to this heavy bit. But let's try to get the actual noise for this.
Cheetah Beast
There we go.
Power,
That's what it's supposed to
red.
be.
Let's go for a spin, Cruz. Cheetah Beast Power, red. Rangers, it's go time. Let's go.
All right.
Are you ready? Say it's morphin' time.
It's Torfin Mime! Okay, so you get the idea there. Let's move on to the next one. And also, I'll show this off in a second, but it's worth noting that I don't think it reads your voice tones. I think it does it based on longevity. It has like some sort of sensor that tells how long you're speaking, and if it lines up with anywhere how long it would say the average person to say it's morphin time, you can say anything. And I'll demonstrate that here. This is supposed to be Blazes. We might get a different sound.
I'm not a real human. I'm much better.
Yeah, that's Blazes.
I'm the better Red Ranger. I'm not a real human. I'm much better.
Okay, let me show you now.
Are you ready? Say it's morphin' time.
You have failed this city. So that's cool. That's Blaze's specific jingle. And you get specific noises for him.
Today, Rangers.
There we go.
Victory is mine, Rangers.
I think there's one more. Ah, that's good enough. Okay, so I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that is supposed to go with Blazes, but it seems weird because that sounds more like the villain Skrillex, as I call him, as opposed to Blaze. But as you can see, you can say anything so long as it's not too long. So I just used that quote and it worked. There's some that are too long. I'll show that off after we do this third key, just because I've tried a couple different just random quotes, and sometimes it works, but if it's too long of a quote, it won't register it. But
Defenders of the grid, it's Morphin time! Let's go! Are you ready? Say it's Morphin time!
the ship was a model as big as this.
Unleash the beast!
There you go. So you get that again, just like in the regular mode. Okay, so as you see, that worked, but watch what happens when I do this. Wait, gotta register.
Are you ready? Say it's Morphin time!
The ship was a model as big as this. Ah, la, 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 la.
Try again!
See, that was too long.
Say it's Morphin
Let's try
time.
this. By Grabthaw's hammer, what a savings. So yeah, I think it's about the longevity, because when I add the ah la la la, it's not having it. But if you just say the ship was a model as big as this, boom, perfect. It's interesting because I just reviewed the Sentai Artisan Mega Ranger items, where I think it does register certain tones in your voice, which is why I had to use like certain times like the weeb tones. Like watch, I'll even do the weeb tone. Here we go. Wait for it. Wait. Dang it.
Are you ready? Say it's Morphin
See, watch.
time!
K-Taiza! See? Even the weeb stuff works. It's funny, when you pull it out, it does make that same Omnitrix noise, but it takes like a minute to register it. It's like slow. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look compared to the Japanese version. So here, let's turn this off. Here is the Morphin Brace. As you can see, it is smaller. It's actually not by a whole lot. Like, this is a little bit longer. That's what she said. And like, you don't have all this real estate here. It's a little bit more tight, a little bit more detailed. It's kind of funny though. I didn't even think about how perfectly this worked, but you have this little faux button up here that's not really a button, but then they managed to turn it into this. For the purposes of the Morpher. And you can see this bit here is different. They have the more accurate thing here for that. Different strap, as I said. Like, this is just more rounded down here. Like, it kind of has the rounded, sleeker watch look compared to this, which makes it a little bit more brickish. Obviously, the sounds are going to be different. This thing has a ton more sounds. No motion activation in this, no voice activation. This has no gimmick, so it's just the sounds by itself. Obviously, this one's going to have a ton of different sounds just from these keys. The keys you're going to be able to buy throughout the series. The sounds, again, are different. You have here, this is the press button for you just press this and the glasses come up. Here we added the gimmick where you have the keys, obviously.
It's Morphin time!
And like, how could we not? We have to do this because everyone else has done it or requested it. So let's go ahead and load this up. Let's do this right.
Cheetah Beast Power, red! Are you ready? Say it's Morphin time!
I mean, obviously, like I said, it doesn't have anything to do with it saying it's Morphin time. It picked it up based off of the... That was terrible. That sounded like a parrot. But yeah, so there are differences. I would say that, you know, if you really want a super accurate one, this is a little bit better in terms of accuracy. But this is no slouch. This is a great Morpher. I definitely like this one a little bit more aesthetically, but this Morpher is a ton of fun. I haven't had this much fun with a Morpher since I think the Dino Charge Morpher. Like, I like all the different ways you can do the sounds. I mean, you have traditional press button lights and sounds, voice activation, you have the motion activation, a ton of different sounds with the keys. It would be even cooler if they were all closer to what they were like in the show. show, like their voices, but still a ton more playability. I think kids will love this. It still looks, like a great morpher in my opinion, even for like adult collectors like myself. So I still think this is a great morpher, but if you want something a little bit more accurate, this is still a good changer. I don't want to be like, oh, this totally trashes it. These are both, I think, equally good in different ways. I think, if you like Go-busters, you're going to want the Go-busters sounds, because I still prefer the Go-busters voice to this "It's Morphin' Time" guy that sounds like the big brother of the Dino Charge one. Like, I kept expecting it, to say, "Unleash the power," like it's the same voice. But I love the jingles in this thing. I like the jingles in this too. But so, I just want to make the point is, I'm not trying to be a Sentai or a PR snob. I like both of these equally for different reasons. And it's kind of one of those cases where I brought this up before, but if you're only a Power Rangers fan, then unless you want the accuracy, you're going to want the one with the closer noises to Power Rangers. Same thing with Go-busters. If you're only a Go-busters fan, you're going to want the one with the Go-busters noises. But yeah, both great changers. I recommend both of them. I'll put a link probably multiple times throughout this review to the changer review this if you want to check that out. Okay. So, final verdict time, and then we'll mess around a little bit and try to activate some of the sounds. I was able to get yellow, blues, and one of the villains. Maybe we'll unlock more, but that's at least what I'm going to try to show. But yeah, if you couldn't tell, I really like this morpher. It's not perfect. I think it could look a little bit aesthetically better. I'd almost like to see them do a second version at some point where it's a little bit sleeker, a little bit more detailed, but it's a ton of fun, ton of sounds. I love it a lot for that. I love all the jingles in it. I like the different ways of play. The only other real complaint I have against it is I feel that this mechanism does feel a little bit cheap. Like I said, sometimes it feels a little wonky to use. Sometimes it'll unlatch like in the middle of something and it'll all of a sudden activate a different set of sounds. It can be a little laggy. It just feels a little bit less than perfect, but I certainly don't think it's a deal breaker. So if you're thinking about getting this or if you're excited about Beast Morphers, definitely a recommendation. And like I said at the beginning, Walmart.com, BarnesandNoble.com, keep an eye out, but they're starting to trickle out in store. Just remember, patience. Okay, so let's go ahead and start to mess around with this a little bit, shall we? So let's put this in. Actually, fun story. I put this in the backwards way when I first got this, but let's see what we get.
Cheetah Beast
Nope,
Power, Red.
we don't want you to do what you're supposed to.
We need to work together.
We need to work together.
I wish you could hear yourself.
Nice to see you, Rangers. I'm a real cut-up. Nice to see you, Rangers.
So this is obviously a villain one.
Not today, Rangers.
You have...
You
Wait.
ready? Say it's morphin' time.
You have failed this city. So same villain music for other villain keys. Same noises for like Blaze, the little bzzz noises. Alright, let's try to get more voices, shall we? So that was like the villain one. What's this one?
Tronics, attack!
Whoops. Damn it. I just had that one.
Yellow Ranger power! Let's go!
Dang it.
Yellow Ranger power! Never give up! Yellow Ranger power! Rangers, it's go time! I can't help that I'm bad. I'm programmed this way.
Roxy.
Surrender, Rangers! I can't help that I'm bad. I'm programmed this way. Not today, Rangers! Surrender, Rangers! The Morph-X is mine! I can't help that I'm bad. I'm programmed this way. Are you...
It's Torfin Mime! So you get the villain noises.
Yellow Ranger power! Yellow Ranger power! Viral Red, ready for action. Now I'm unstoppable. Viral Red, ready for action.
Fivel Red.
Are you ready? Say it's morphin' time.
It's Torfin Mime! So you get the same noise for whatever power-up that is. For that, at least.
Nice to see you, Rangers. We need to work together. I can't help that I'm bad. I'm programmed this way. Prepare to lose, Rangers. I'll drill right through you. Prepare to lose, Rangers. Woo! Feel the burn, Rangers. Gorilla Beast Power, Blue. We've got the code to victory. We need to work together. Rangers, it's go time. Tronics, get them. I'm a real cut-up. out of business. Looks like we got the jump on them. Let's put these creeps out of business. Tronics, attack! The Morph X is mine! Tronics, attack! Not today, Rangers! Jackrabbit Beast Power, yellow! You messed with the wrong Ranger! Jackrabbit Beast Power, yellow! I'm ready to fight! The Morph X is mine!
Okay, so I tried to get as many as I could. As you heard, I got yellow, a couple variations of yellow, a couple of blue, some villains, unfortunately, Roxy as well, which was nice. Unfortunately, the one I was trying to get for like 10 minutes, which I couldn't get, I apologize, is one that people assume might be the J counterpart, aka the Silver Ranger, that says I'm half human, half awesome. Just wanted to mention that. I got it once when I was like taking it out of the package, but I couldn't get it again, so I apologize. But you get the idea. There's a ton of sounds you can mess around with to get probably even more. We'll get even, more clear ones once the keys come out. But it's nice that there's the shutdown noise, that there's seemingly some variations of like yellow and blue that you might be able to get based on different keys. But yeah, so again, sorry I wasn't able to get that one, but you'll be hearing plenty more from this Morpher throughout the year. But until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for all my videos. Until next time, Dawson Ryder, signing out.